To begin your feather earrings, you will need your earring hook and your jump ring. A little tip is I like to use the stainless steel hypoallergenic earrings. They just for longer lasting and they don't irritate my ears at all. So start by grabbing your jump ring. You will need some pliers and attach it to your earring. So right there. And go ahead and close it up tightly. Next, you'll take your cord that is 7 inches long, and you're going to thread one side through your jump ring right here. If you do have a hard time getting your cord through, you can go ahead and take a piece of tape and just tape the ends, just one end to get it to go through to get you started, and then just take the tape off. So tape the end, put it through that ring, and pull through. And then once it's through, I go ahead and take the tape off because you don't need it on there. You will then want to pull it all the way through, so that way it's even and it's going to look like this. And at this point, I do take another piece of tape, 2 pieces, and I'm going to tape the earring hook to the table or whatever surface, like this. And then one at the very bottom. This just kind of holds your cord in place while you tie the knots. And that is what it will look like. To begin tying your knots, you will need the 10 cords cut at 3.5 inches, and you are going to tie a reef knot. So to tie a reef knot, you will take your cord, fold it evenly in half, just like this. And you're going to place one of it underneath the spine. I call this the spine of your feather earring. Next, take your another cord, fold it evenly in half, and this time you're going to thread this loop through the bottom of this loop. So it will look like that. This loop's going to go over the top of your spine, and you're going to grab the 2 other ends through that loop, just like that, and pull tight. You do want it at the top of your jump ring, the top of your cord, and once you pull tight, I then like to take each end and pull them separately to secure them, just like that. And it makes a square knot, but this technique is considered a reef knot. And you are going to continue that 4 more times. You want a total of 5 reef knots. So again, just fold it in half underneath that spine. Take your second cord, fold it in half. You're going to go under and through the loop, over the top spine, and grab the 2 ends through that loop and pull, tightening each cord after you're done. And repeat that till you have 5 reef knots. If it's harder for you to grab the knots through, you can cut your cords a little longer. That way it's just easier for you to grab them and then trim them up. This is what it should look like once you have your 5 reef knots on. And at this point, you can go ahead and take the tape off. You will then need a comb or a brush. I'm just using a regular comb. Starting from the ends and brushing inwards like you would hair, go ahead and brush out your feathers. You're going to do one side, then the next, and then the bottom. Once you have it brushed, I do then like to take the smaller side if you have it and just kind of brush at an angle to blend it all together. This is what it's going to look like once you brush it out. And now we're going to cut and shape it. You can, if you'd like. When I first started, I went onto Google and found little leaf templates, and I just printed them out, and I would just lay them on my feather and cut around and then shape it how I wanted to once I was done. Or you can go ahead and do it by hand. It's really up to you. I do suggest that if you're not going to use a template to set on it, you do not have to. I will show you how you can do it without it. Cut further out because you can always trim it in. So I'm going to start by going at an angle, about a 1/2 inch out, and we're just going to cut and slowly curve into the shape of a feather as you go. You will trim it a few different times. And then same thing on this side. I'm going to flip it just because it's easier for me to cut this side and do the same thing. Going at an angle, so that way it has that curve to it, and slowly curving. At this point, I like to brush it back out again because you will notice that some loose cords will start to come out. And you're just going to repeat that process until you get it the size you want. After that, I'll just pick it up and just go at it again, always curving at the top. Just like that. And then you start to see that you have the shape. And if you want to make them a little more shorter or rounder, go ahead and keep trimming. If you want them less, like not as big, you can also decrease your square knots, your reef knots that you do. And that will just shorten the length of your earring. Remember to always just trim a little bit at a time if you're going to be doing this by hand without a template, because it's easy to take more cord off than you think. And there we go. That is what it should look like. You can always adjust, make them shorter, make them longer, but you will repeat this one more time to have one more earring for your set. And here is your second macrame feather earring. This is what it should look like as your set. They really are such a pretty pair of earrings. And the best thing about this is that if you have scrap cord laying around, this is the perfect project to make with your scrap cord. That way you do not have any waste of any of your macrame cord. Now at this point, you can leave them as is. The cord is loose, but if you have any sort of fabric stiffener or hairspray, this is your time that you would want to spray them and then let them sit so that way the sides harden and your feathers will not really move. This is the fabric stiffener that I like to use. It is stiff and quick. And if you're going to spray them, I do like to grab a piece of paper. I always hold the tops of the hook and just go ahead and spray the front and the back. And then I just rub it really good into the earring. This will help keep them stiff. And then even after it dries, you can always trim them up a little bit if you see any stray cord coming out. And then just repeat with the same process. There you go. You can just allow them to dry and they will be ready to go. After they have dried, this is what they will look like, and they will just slightly be a little stiff, and you are ready to wear them. I hope you loved this tutorial. Thank you for watching and have fun making your own macrame feather earrings.